Finally, assemble the flower branches. The entire flower branch is divided into 4 parts. 1 2-leaf large flower. 1 1-leaf large flower, 1 small flower, and 1 bouquet of buds. Please watch my demonstration for the specific making method. First, make the 2-leaf large flower. Take 1 calyx, 2 different motifs, 2 leaves in different colors, and 1 pearl flower branch as standby. Then cut a piece of thin wire about 20 cm long. Take out 10 pistils. Tidy up the pistils neatly. Fold the wire in half at the center of the pistils. Tighten it. The base of the pistils must be tightened securely. Thread it through the right side of the second layer motif, and through the center of the right side of the first layer motif. Adjust the position of the 2 motifs according to your preference. Then take out the sepal. Insert it from the center of the wrong side. Thread the reserved yarn tail of the sepal into a yarn needle. Sew and secure it to these 2 layers of motifs. Pay attention to pick up the thread on the wrong side of the second layer motif for securing. Make sure no stitches are visible on the right side. The tip of the sepal doesn't need to be secured. Let it curl up naturally. Once it's securely fixed, gently pull the center of the motif slightly towards the center of the sepal. Let it sink inward slightly. pull the pistil inward a bit. Leave a natural length according to your preference. You can tie a knot on the yarn tail. Don't deal with it for now. Next, take out the leaf. Thread the yarn tail into a yarn needle. The leaf doesn't have a right or wrong side. Place it on the wrong side of the motif. Sew the bottom securely to the edge of the sepal. Weave in the yarn tail. Place the other leaf slightly off-center on the other side. Attach and secure it using the same method. Everyone, finish this part. Finally, thread the yarn tail of the pearl flower branch into a yarn needle. Insert the excess wire at the bottom into the edge of the sepal. Hide it inside. You can decide the exact position based on your preference. Then use the yarn tail to secure it firmly. Tie off and weave in the ends. Everyone, complete this part. Finally, twist all the wires tightly underneath the sepal. Pay attention to adjusting the length of the pistil properly. Leave the wire unprocessed for now. This way, a 2-leaf large flower is completed. Next, assemble the 1-leaf large flower. It consists of 2 different motifs. 1 sepal, 1 leaf, and 1 pearl flower branch. The assembly method is almost the same as for the 2-leaf large flower. The pistil also uses 10 pieces. The only difference is that there's just 1 leaf. The placement of the leaf and the pearl flower branch can be adjusted according to your preference. Everyone, finish this part. Next, assemble the small flowers. Take the second layer motif and 1 sepal. Assemble them together with the pistil. The method is the same as before. To make the pistil more 3-dimensional, after tightening the middle, you can wrap it once around the top. Then continue with the assembly. Place the actual motif with the wrong side facing up. Everyone can choose based on their preference. When sewing, be mindful to pick up the thread on the backside. Once it's securely fixed, also secure the center of the motif. Downward. Slightly gather the flower a bit more. The remaining yarn tail comes out from the center of the sepal. Then wrap it around the wire. Wrap for about 5 cm. Leave a tail of around 30 cm to tie a knot at the end. This way, the small flower is assembled. Finally, assemble one bud. Start with assembling one bud. Thread the reserved yarn tail into the sewing needle. Make sure the right side of the bud faces out. Roll it up along the starting chain. Adjust the shape according to your preference. Then sew and secure the bottom. Hide the yarn tail. Next, cut 2 pieces of wire, each 20 cm long. And twist them slightly. Fold it in half and separate into 2 parts. Draw it through the middle of the bud. If it's difficult to go through here, you can use a needle for assistance. Twist tightly at the bottom. Insert from the center of the backside of the small calyx. If it's difficult to go through here, you can use a needle to widen the spot. Use the previously reserved yarn tail of the small calyx to sew securely to the bottom of the bud. After completing, draw the yarn tail through the center of the starting chain. Wrap the yarn around the wire. Secure the yarn tail. Trim off any excess yarn tail. Secure the ending firmly. With that, one bud is completed. Make another bud using the same method. Finally, attach 2 buds and 2 pearl flower branches together. Leave about 8 cm of wire on the tallest bud. Position the other branches slightly lower. Refer to the finished product for exact placement. You can also adjust based on your preference. Place the leaves behind in the end. Use the reserved yarn tail to wrap around the ends. The reserved yarn tail from the pearl flower branch can be trimmed off here. Try to wrap it tightly. Secure it roughly in place. Tie a knot at the end. Leave the yarn tail for now. Trim off any excess wire. This completes one bouquet of buds. All parts of the peony flower branch are now done. Set it aside for later use. Next, let's learn how to make the phoenix. It is divided into the body, the crest, the wings, the tail, and the tail feathers and accessories assembly. Let's start with the body. Use the magic ring technique to begin. Crochet in rounds counterclockwise. Finally, stuff it. Before crocheting, let's take a look at the chart. In the chart, our plus number indicates the round number. The column labeled Stitch Instructions indicates the stitch techniques needed for crocheting this round, as well as the increasing or decreasing situations. The total stitches column shows the total number of stitches after completing all the stitches in this round. The stitches used include the X stitch single crochet, V single crochet increase, and invisible single crochet decrease. Chain stitches and slip stitches are also used. Now, watch me demonstrate the specific crocheting method. The chart indicates magic ring for casting on, which means the starting method is the magic ring. First, start with a magic ring. Now, crochet the first round. Our 1 is 6x. The number before X indicates how many X-stitch single crochets to make. This means you will crochet 6 X-stitch single crochets into the starting loop. First, make 1 chain stitch as the beginning chain. This starting chain is not marked in the chart. In actual crocheting in rounds, you always start by making a beginning chain. The beginning chain for single crochet doesn't count as 1 stitch. Insert. Method of placing the yarn on the hook. Pull the yarn through. Then yarn over and draw through in once. 1 X-stitch single crochet is completed. All the single crochets in the chart are made using the X-stitch technique. For easier explanation later, we'll collectively refer to them as single crochets. Everyone, please pay attention and don't make mistakes. Continue by making 5 single crochets in the loop. After completing, check the stitch count. The total number of stitches for each round is clearly marked in the chart. We won't repeat this reminder later. Then close the magic ring. Finally, work 1 slip stitch into the first single crochet stitch of the round. If you can't find the right spot, count the stitches from the back. The slip stitch is not indicated in the chart. But when crocheting in rounds, you always finish by joining with a slip stitch and pull tight. That completes the first round. Now move on to round 2. R2 is V, 4x, V. Start by making 1 beginning chain. Let me emphasize again. You must make a beginning chain at the start of every round. I won't mention this repeatedly later on. In the first stitch of the previous round, make 1 single crochet increase, which means at the slip stitch position, make 2 single crochets. When crocheting, place the starting tail above the hook. Weave in the ends as you go along. The single crochet increase is completed. Pick up the corresponding stitch and crochet 4 single crochets. One single crochet increase. Then make a slip stitch in the first stitch. Pull tight. Pay attention, after finishing each round, always join with a slip stitch to the first stitch. The yarn tail from the beginning chain that wasn't tightened can now be trimmed off. We'll keep the textured right side facing outward. The second round is now completed. Continue to crochet the third round. Start with one single crochet increase. Then crochet 6 single crochets. One single crochet increase. Finish with a slip stitch. The third round is complete. Now crochet the fourth round. Start with 2 single crochet increases. One single crochet. One invisible single crochet decrease. First pick up the front loop of the left stitch. Which is the loop closest to you? Then insert into the front loop of the adjacent stitch. Place the hook above the yarn. Hook the yarn out through the first 2 loops. There are still 2 loops left. Yarn over and draw through once. The invisible single crochet decrease is complete. This method of picking up only the front loops for decreasing is called the invisible decrease. Crochet using this method, the fabric becomes more delicate overall. Continue with 1 invisible single crochet decrease. First, pick up the front loops of the next 2 stitches on the left side. Pay attention to the position of the hook. Draw the yarn through the first 2 loops. Yarn over and draw through once. The invisible single crochet decrease is complete. Continue with 1 single crochet, 2 single crochets into the same stitch. Join with a slip stitch to finish. Round 4 is complete. The number of rounds on the back of the body. Continue crocheting in rounds following the chart. When you see even, it means pick up 1 stitch and work 1 single crochet per stitch. When starting a round with single crochet decreases, be mindful not to miss the front loop at the slip stitch joining point. Each round begins with a turning chain. Finish by working a slip stitch to join and pull tight. A raised texture on the right side of the fabric marks the beginning of a new round. The number of these textured ridges indicates how many rounds have been crocheted. Continue following the chart all the way down to complete the remaining sections. After finishing the final round, leave a yarn tail of about 20 cm before cutting the yarn. Please complete yours accordingly. Finally, proceed with stuffing. Here I'll demonstrate using a swatch. Take some scrap yarn tails and stuff them in. You can use scissors and the hook handle to help. At the starting area, use the hook to push the stuffing in a bit. stuff as firmly and evenly as possible. Once all the stuffing is completed, thread the yarn tail into a sewing needle. Pinch the fabric flat along the slip stitch seam. Match up the corresponding stitches on both sides of the opening, and sew them together using whip stitches. After completing, tie off and weave in the ends. This completes the body. Next, let's learn how to make the crest. Start with a magic ring. Crochet in rounds. The new stitch technique used here is a regular single crochet decrease. Please watch my demonstration of the specific crochet method, starting chain and the first 3 rounds. The crocheting method is similar to the beginning of the body. Refer to the form and complete it. Pay attention to having the right side facing out. Next, crochet the 4th round. Start crocheting following the pattern chart. After completing the last single crochet stitch, crochet 4 chain stitches. Be mindful not to crochet too tightly. Reverse 1 means to start crocheting from the last stitch. Slightly enlarge the loop. Pick up the back loop of the last chain stitch. Work 1 slip stitch into the back loop. Continue working 3 slip stitches correspondingly into the back loops. Finish with a slip stitch into the starting stitch. The 4th round is completed. Move on to crochet the 5th round. First, make 6 chain stitches. Start from the last stitch. Work 6 slip stitches correspondingly into the back loops. After completing, skip the stitch where the slip stitch was inserted. Starting from the next stitch, crochet the corresponding stitch pattern. After completing the last single crochet stitch, make 6 chain stitches. Work 6 slip stitches correspondingly into the back loops. Then, slip stitch into the left stitch. The 5th round is completed. Finally, crochet the 6th round. Start by carrying the yarn across. Stretch the loop. Pass the yarn ball or fabric through the loop. Pull tight. Then locate the second single crochet stitch from the previous row. Insert the hook into the stitch. Draw the yarn through. Pay attention to keeping the carried yarn close to the fabric. The yarn carry is completed. Continue by crocheting 6 chain stitches. Work 6 slip stitches correspondingly into the back loops. Slip stitch into the left stitch below. Continue by crocheting 5 chain stitches. Work 5 slip stitches correspondingly into the back loops. Slip stitch into the adjacent stitch below. Continue by crocheting 5 chain stitches. Work 1 slip stitch correspondingly into the back loop. 1 single crochet decrease. You can work a regular single crochet decrease here. Insert into the back loop. You can draw the yarn through using the X stitch single crochet method. Complete 1 incomplete single crochet stitch. Insert into the adjacent back loop. Pull the yarn through. The second incomplete single crochet stitch is now done. Finally, yarn over and draw through all loops once. The regular single crochet decrease is completed. Continue by working 2 slip stitches correspondingly. Match and work 2 slip stitches into the stitches below. Keep referring to the chart for the following steps. Finish the remaining part using this method. Leave the last stitch unworked. There is a specific position where you will work 2 slip stitches in the same stitch. Make sure not to miss it. After completing, leave a 30 cm yarn tail and fasten off. This completes the head piece. Set it aside for now. Next, we'll learn how to make the wings. They are divided into left and right wings. The left and right refer to the phoenix's own perspective. Each wing is divided into 2 parts, the main part and the feathers. Let's start with crocheting the left wing body first. Begin with a foundation chain of 10 stitches. Work back and forth along the foundation chain. During the process, you'll need to weave in the fine wire. The new stitch techniques used are W 3 single crochets in 1 stitch, M 3 single crochets together, T half double crochet, F double crochet, and E treble crochet. Also, use FM double crochet, 3 stitches together. Please watch my demonstration for the exact crocheting method. Start with a chain of 10 stitches. Reverse 2 means starting from the second to last stitch. Here, pick up the half stitch above the second to last stitch. Correspondingly make 1 single crochet. Continue picking up half stitches and making single crochets. Complete this row. Row 1 is done. We'll use the clearer texture side as the right side. Continue with row 2. Start with a chain 1 to begin. Turn means to turn the work over. Turn the fabric counterclockwise. Flow means to pick up the front loop only for crocheting. Pay attention, on the wrong side, the stitches are on the upper left. Start with 1 single crochet decrease. Here you can use the regular single crochet decrease method. Mind the insertion position is the front loop only. Continue making 6 single crochets correspondingly. One single crochet increase. Row 2 is completed. A horizontal line texture forms on the right side of the fabric. Continue with row 3. Make 1 chain as the beginning chain. Turn the work over. This row needs to be crocheted by picking up the back loop only. That means pick up the strand of the stitch that's away from you. Crochet the corresponding stitch pattern. Row 3 is completed. Rows 4 to 6 that follow. Refer to the previous demonstration. Follow the chart to complete them. Now crochet row 7. Take the thin wire and place it behind the fabric. Leave a little extra on the right side. Make 1 chain as the beginning chain. Pay attention to wrapping the wire. Start from row 6. Pick up 6 single crochets along the side seam of each row. Be mindful not to leave large holes while crocheting. Once completed, you'll reach the starting chain. There's still a front loop and the half loop on the other side left. Here, pick up the front loop of the rightmost chain stitch. If you're not sure, Count from the left to the right. The front loop of the first chain stitch on the wrong side. Is the floating yarn closest to the yarn tail? There should be 9 front loops remaining from the cast on. Find the rightmost front loop. Pick up this loop and work 1 single crochet 3 in 1. That means working 3 single crochets into the same stitch. Be sure to wrap the wire into the stitches as you crochet. Completing the 3 single crochets in 1 stitch. Continue picking up the front loops of the chain stitches, and work 8 single crochets accordingly. Smooth out the fabric after completing. Reserve about 2 cm of wire on both ends and then cut off. You can bend it first. Row 7 is completed. 9 half loops remain from the cast on. Move on to row 8. Make 1 beginning chain to start. Turn the work. Pick up the front loops and work 8 single crochets accordingly. Continue with 1 single crochet, then 3 together. First, make 3 incomplete single crochets accordingly. Then yarn over and draw through once. The 3 single crochets together is completed. Keep crocheting the single crochets. After completing, row 8 is done. The backside forms small horizontal bars like this. Finally, work row 9. Make 1 beginning chain to start. Turn the work. Pick up the stitch and make 1 single crochet accordingly. 1 half double crochet for stitches other than single crochets and single crochet decreases. You can simply pull the yarn through normally, or you can work using the X stitch single crochet method. Feel free to choose based on your preference. 1 double crochet, 2 treble crochets, 1 double crochet 3 together. First, make 3 incomplete double crochets. Yarn over and draw through in once. Completing the double crochet 3 together. Continue crocheting by following the chart. After completion, leave a 20 cm yarn tail and cut it off. This completes the left wing main part. Next, let's learn how to make the left wing feathers. Attach the yarn to the left wing main part and crochet 2 layers of feathers. Please watch the demonstration. First, crochet the first layer of feathers. Locate the starting point of the left wing main part, which is the position of the short yarn tail. Pay attention that the last row should be on top, and the wrong side is facing you. There are 9 small horizontal bars below the wire. These are the remaining 9 half stitches from the starting chain. Pick up the rightmost horizontal bar to attach the yarn, which is this chain stitch, where the yarn tail is located. Crochet 4 chain stitches. Starting from the second to last stitch, pick up the corresponding inner loop and crochet 3 slip stitches. Slip stitch into the next horizontal bar. You can also weave in the yarn tail at the same time. The first feather is completed. Continue with the second one. First, crochet 5 chain stitches. Starting from the second to last stitch, pick up the corresponding inner loop and slip stitch. Finally, slip stitch into the adjacent horizontal bar below. The second feather is completed. For the following feathers, continue crocheting downward following the chart. Keep crocheting until the third to last feather is completed. Everyone finish that part. Now I'll demonstrate the second to last feather. Start by crocheting the corresponding number of chain stitches. Starting from the second to last stitch, pick up the inner loop and slip stitch. Now find the 7th stitch on the 7th row, which is the row where we wrap the wire. You can flip it to the other side. And count from right to left. Locate the single crochet 3 in 1 stitch. On the back side of the rightmost single crochet, pick up the right horizontal bar and slip stitch. Right here, you can pick it a bit loose. Continue crocheting chain stitches. Return and crochet slip stitches. Slip stitch again on the previous horizontal bar. Cut the yarn. Weave in the yarn tail. Any remaining yarn tails can be trimmed off. Everyone complete it. This completes the first layer of feathers. Continue to the second layer of feathers. Below the first layer of feathers, locate the first row horizontal bar. Attach yarn to the rightmost bar. The stitch corresponding to the edge single crochet. Don't make a mistake. Crochet 4 chain stitches. Start from the second to last stitch, correspondingly make slip stitches. After completing, slip stitch at the joining position. The first feather is done. Continue to the second feather. Finish with a slip stitch. Locate the second stitch of the second row on the main part. Which is the next row horizontal bar? The second bar from the right? Which is this one? Slip stitch. Continue to crochet the third feather. Finish by slip stitching on the horizontal bar to the left of the previous small horizontal bar. Move on to the fourth feather. Finally, locate the second to last stitch of the third row on the main part. Which is the horizontal bar on the row below? The second stitch from the right? Slip stitch. For feathers 5 to 10 at the back, follow one by one on the remaining half stitches of the third row, which means slip stitch and crochet on this row's small horizontal bars. Everyone refer to the chart to complete it. Now I'll demonstrate the second to last feather. Start by crocheting chain stitches. Return with a slip stitch. Finally, find the single crochet on the fourth stitch of the seventh row. Which is this stitch right here. Pick up the corresponding horizontal bar on the right side and slip stitch. Continue crocheting the last feather. Finish by slip stitching on the same small horizontal bar. Cut the yarn and weave in the end. Everyone complete this part. With that, the second layer of feathers is also completed. Tidy up the work. The explanation for the left wing feathers is finished. Next, let's learn how to make the right wing body. We'll start using the foundation chain method. Crochet along the starting chain. Wrap the wire into the work as you go. Watch me demonstrate the specific crochet technique. Starting from the foundation chain to the sixth row, the crochet method is similar to the left wing body. Pay attention to picking up the half stitch on the first row. Follow the chart for picking up the corresponding half stitches afterward. Cut the yarn after completing the sixth row. Everyone complete this part by referring to the chart. Next, crochet the seventh row. Position the textured right side facing you, with the starting chain facing upward. Locate the rightmost chain stitch. Pick up the half stitch from the top and join the yarn. So it's just one strand of yarn. For easier viewing, I'll demonstrate using a different color. This row needs to be crocheted while wrapping the wire. Make one chain as your beginning chain. Work one single crochet at the joining position. Then pick up the half stitch from the top of the chain and correspondingly make 7 single crochets. On the last half stitch, work 1 single crochet and 1 single crochet 3 in 1. Evenly crochet 6 single crochets along the side. Once completed, the 7th row is done. Tidy up the fabric. Leave about 2 cm of wire and then cut it off. At the beginning chain, leave a little bump on the wrong side like this. Moving on to rows 8 to 9. Work back and forth following the chart. Leave a yarn tail of about 5 cm before cutting the yarn. Hide it inside the fabric. That's it for the right wing main part. Next, crochet the right wing feathers. Work 2 layers on the main part as well. Please watch the demonstration. First, crochet the first layer of feathers. Hold the right wing main part with the wrong side facing you. With the last row on top, locate the 11th stitch from the right on the 7th row right side. Which is right here. Pick up the little horizontal bar on the back right side to join yarn. Chain 12 stitches. Start from the second to last stitch. Pick up the corresponding horizontal bar and slip stitch. After completing, find where the foundation chain starts. There are still 9 horizontal bars left here. These are the little diagonal horizontal bars. Slip stitch on the second horizontal bar from the right, which is right here. First feather is done. Move downward, on the remaining horizontal bars of the foundation chain. Crochet the remaining feathers correspondingly. The method is similar to how we started the first few feathers on the left wing's first layer. Refer to the chart to complete it. Finally, cut the yarn and weave in the ends. That concludes the explanation for the first layer of feathers. Continue crocheting the second layer of feathers. Find row 7, stitch 15 of the main part. which is the third stitch from the end. Pick up the horizontal bar on the wrong side, right side, and join the yarn. Refer to the chart and crochet the first feather. At the end, find the remaining half stitch on row 3. The first stitch, that is, slip stitch into the horizontal bar on the far right. Then pick up the remaining half stitch on row 3 and crochet the feathers one by one. Keep crocheting all the way to the position of the second to last stitch. Everyone complete this part. Crochet the slip stitch at the position of the second to last stitch on row 3. Continue crocheting the next feather. The swatch has been completed. At the end, find the remaining half stitch on row 2. Pick up the second stitch, that is, the horizontal bar of the second stitch from the left. Pay attention, the horizontal bar on the edge is formed by the turning chain. Don't pick the wrong position. Continue crocheting the next feather. Slip stitch into the adjacent horizontal bar on the left. Move on to the next feather. At the end, find the remaining half stitch on row 1. Slip stitch into the second horizontal bar from the left. Continue crocheting the second to last feather. At the end, slip stitch into the remaining half stitch on row 1 at the edge. The last feather slip stitch into the same position. Cut the yarn. Make sure all yarn tails from the feathers are hidden. With that, the explanation for the right wing feathers is complete. The wings are now fully explained. Next, we'll learn how to make the tail. There are 2 layers. We'll start using the foundation chain method. Crochet along the foundation chain. Here, I'll demonstrate the technique using the second layer of the tail as an example. First, chain 10 stitches. Start from the last stitch. Pick up the back bump and crochet a slip stitch. The first one is complete. Now crochet the second one. First, chain 1 to begin. Turn the work. Pick up the braid from the slip stitch of the previous row. Correspondingly make 2 slip stitches. Chain 12 stitches. Continue and return, starting from the last stitch. Pick up the back bump and crochet a slip stitch. Once completed, tidy up the fabric. The side with the braid texture should face the same direction. Pick up the braid of the first 2 slip stitches. Correspondingly make 2 slip stitches. The second one is complete. For the part behind the tail, crochet back and forth using the same method as the second one. Everyone complete it. Finally, leave a 30 cm yarn tail for sewing. This concludes the explanation for the second layer tail. The crochet method for the first layer tail is similar, just with a different number of stitches. Everyone complete it. This concludes the explanation for the tail. Next we will learn how to make the tail feathers. There are 6 feathers in total. From left to right, they are tail feather 1 to tail feather 6. All start with a foundation chain. Crochet along the foundation chain. The new stitch technique used is the ch1 picket. Next, I will demonstrate the crocheting method, using tail feather 6 as an example. First, crochet tail feather 6. Begin with a foundation chain. The sample swatch has already been started. At the second to last stitch, pick up the back loop and work 1 slip stitch. Remember to wrap the wire as you crochet. Then work 3 chain stitches. In the last chain stitch's back loop, work 1 slip stitch. Skip 1 stitch. On the left side, work 1/2 double crochet in the back loop. Then skip 1 stitch on the foundation chain. Pick up the next chain's top loop and work 1 slip stitch. Remember to wrap the wire. Continue picking up the half loop and work 1 slip stitch. Place the wire underneath. There will be no special instructions later on. On the chain stitches, always pick up the half loop for crocheting. Then work 3 chain stitches. Starting from the last stitch, pick up the back loop and work 1 slip stitch. Skip 1 stitch, work 1 half double crochet. We'll treat the stitches after the first half double crochet as a group. Later on, follow the same method for this group, and crochet the corresponding number of groups. After completing, skip 1 stitch below. Correspondingly work 3 slip stitches. Continue with 3 chain stitches. On the last chain stitch, work a slip stitch on the top loop. Here, tidy up the fabric. Make sure to leave at least 2 cm of wire underneath. Slightly bend it. Skip the 2 chain stitches below. On the remaining starting chain stitch, pick up 2 strands and work 2 half double crochets. Three double crochets. One ch1 picket. First work 1 chain stitch, then insert hook into the front loop of the next stitch below. And pick up 1 strand from the left side, work 1 slip stitch. The ch1 picket is completed. Continue by working 2 double crochets in the same stitch below. Two half double crochets. One ch1 picket. First work 1 chain stitch. Then insert hook into the front loop of the stitch, and pick up 2 strands like this from the left side. Work 1 slip stitch. The ch1 picket is completed. Then work 2 chain stitches on the starting chain. On these 3 stitches on the left side, pick up the back loop and the bump on the other side of the chain. Correspondingly work 3 slip stitches. That is, insert hook into the same positions as the previous 3 slip stitches and crochet. Carry the starting yarn tail along. Remember to continue wrapping the wire. Then work 2 chain stitches. Into the bump of the last chain stitch work 1 slip stitch. 1 chain stitch. Into the adjacent bump work 1/2 double crochet. Skip 1 stitch on the starting chain. Pick up 2 strands of the chain and correspondingly work 2 slip stitches, matching the slip stitches from this side previously. Crochet into the same position. Follow the same crochet method for this group. Complete the remaining groups. You can check as you crochet. The number of groups on both sides should be identical and positioned symmetrically. After completing the last group, 2 chain stitches. Work 1 slip stitch into the bump of the last stitch. 1 chain stitch. Work 1/2 double crochet into the next bump. Skip 1 chain stitch underneath. Finally, work 1 slip stitch into the insertion position of the starting slip stitch. The remaining chain here forms a loop like this. If you're unsure, you can roughly estimate the position and slip stitch there. Leave a yarn tail of about 20 cm and break the yarn. Tidy up the fabric. Trim the wire to around 2 cm. You can twist it slightly. We'll consider the side with the braid-like texture on the edge as the right side. This completes tail 6. For the other tails, follow the same method. Refer to the chart to crochet. That concludes the explanation of the tail feathers.